So what is this rope flow as an example, and how does it demonstrate or develop the kind of stuff that we're alluding to?
I'm really happy that David Weck, he's the guy who invented rope flow. He has
The progenitor.
The progenitor of rope flow. That's on air, David. Go ahead and clip that, David. He's going to love that. He's the one who popularized, got the moves going. I mean, he came onto our show and then he showed these videos back in like these 2006, 2005 style videos, right? Of him doing rope flow on like a roof in, I don't know, San Jose or something, or San Diego. And he came and he showed it to us maybe
about a roof.
Yeah.
Right.
I gotta
bookmark that for later. Yeah.
I got to send it to you. David's a character. He's great. And I've learned so much from him, by the way. I love that guy. Continuing to learn from him too. But back to rope flow. He came and showed it to us maybe 4 years ago. And when he mentioned it initially, I think sometimes when you have a certain amount of experience in training or whatever, you hear something new and you're like, okay, trendy, or what's swinging a rope through space really going to do for you? But through having so many people and talking to and learning from so many people that have changed the way I move and have affected me positively.
Can I just pause for 1 second?
Yeah.
Don't lose your train of thought, because you do a lot outside of the gym, or I should say outside of the weight training gym, right? A very, very serious, dedicated jiu-jitsu practitioner.
Yeah.
Which is not purely in the sagittal plane, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot more going on. Okay, so
jiu-jitsu for me was really fun to start. We can talk about that later, but like that's the sport I started doing because I realized that all the lifting I was doing had me feeling very stiff and unathletic. So I got into jiu-jitsu about 9 or 10, almost 10 years back to try to see if I could combat the way my body was feeling, which had its own issues. But rope flow, when David told me about it initially, I was apprehensive. I got a rope, I started doing it, got frustrated, dropped it. Kind of like the girl in the park that we met today.
Yeah.
You get a rope, you do it for a little bit, you don't know what to do, you drop it.
How did he sell it to you? Do you remember kind of what the pitch was?
He talked about all the benefits and he showed it. He even like showed me some in the gym, him and his head coach, Chris Chamberlain. But it didn't necessarily stick because I didn't have kind of like a structure to it. So what I ended up doing was I ended up just like looking at a bunch of people that I could see on YouTube. I went through some of the videos that David sent me and I just tried to practice it a little bit each day. Frustration would set in though, because the flow wasn't happening. It's called rope flow because I think people ask, are there sets, reps, etc.? No, you just go, you rotate, you move, you put the rope away, you go do what you do, right? It's not like a workout. It's play.
Yeah, it's closer to like slacklining.
Exactly. It's play. It's a flow practice. But once things started clicking, I started seeing how it was like affecting my jiu-jitsu. And in my jiu-jitsu, it's inherently an asymmetrical practice, the martial art. You have a dominant side and a non-dominant side. So you'll tend to do things, whether it's sweeps, whether it's takedowns, etc. Guard passing, you go that one direction. You grease that dominant groove. And your non-dominant side ends up being just this goofy mess, right? But I started realizing that...
Oh, that's just your non-dominant side? No, I'm kidding. I'm saying that about myself. I'm not going to spar you. No.
No, but seriously, but what slowly started happening was I started noticing like a scissor sweep I would really do to my right side. I'm now, that left side rotation felt pretty powerful. Like, I don't usually drill that. What happened there? Passes to my left side started feeling better. And the reason that was happening was because when doing rope flow, it's a symmetrical practice. You learn to rotate using your spine on your dominant side, but you get that rotation on your other side. And what happens is as you do this back and forth, naturally you want to make your non-dominant side feel as good as your dominant. So now your rotation with your spine to the left side of your body or your non-dominant side starts to feel just as good as your dominant, and you're moving with more symmetry through everything that you do.
Yeah, and let me add something just with kind of beginner's eyes. Now that I have a PhD in rope flow after our workout this morning.
Let's go.
Well, I would just say that one of the benefits of something like rope flow from a development of like symmetrical abilities perspective is that you get a lot of reps, right? Because you could do something in the gym that's aimed at symmetry, but like how many reps and how many sets are you actually going to do if you're programming properly, right? And at what point is your your technique going to degrade, or you might be doing more harm than good. Whereas with the rope flow, it's like, if it doesn't feel good, you're going to know, because it's going to be janky. You might whack yourself in the ankle, whack yourself in the back of the head like I did. Whereas if it feels fluid, you're going to know it feels fluid, right?
Yeah.
And you get a lot of reps.
Yeah.
So you have the benefit of volume on your side in developing that water feel.
Mm-hmm. So there's that benefit of volume. But at its most basic level, you learn to navigate that rope, move it through space while using your spine as the main mover. You learn to do that. Initially, it's a very handsy thing. You're using your hands a lot, but then you learn to follow the weight of the rope and use your spine, both sides, right? You notice if you walk after, you now have this natural swagger that starts to happen when you're walking. You're moving through space with that spinal engine.
And I'm going to try to just paint a visual for people when they're imagining rope flow, because some people, I imagine, are not going to really have a video in their mind as we're talking. Mm-hmm. This is going to age me, but I'll try it anyway. So if you imagine Arnold Schwarzenegger, Conan the Barbarian, iconic scene with the sword, swinging it on either side. Okay, you got it. You got a sword in front. Now he's swinging it to either side. Okay, now imagine instead of the sword, you have a rope that is whatever this is, and I don't know, inch and a half, 2 inches thick, something like that, like a heavy-ish rope, right? And so now imagine you're swinging this rope around, but instead of just using your hands, let's just say you bring your hands in closer to your chest, and now you're creating that figure eight with your shoulders. And that is then swinging the blade, AKA the rope, right? So just imagine that kind of movement. Is that fair enough?
That's fair. That's fair. Right. And along with that, it's not just the spine, it's the weight shift of the feet. Because now you're shifting from one side to the other, left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot, right? Yeah. And one of the reasons why I believe it's helped so much with my jiu-jitsu, because jiu-jitsu, it's a very rotational practice when you're trying to leverage an opponent from one side or the other, is because my weight shift on both sides of my body has improved from my feet. So this is one reason why when you start to like do more rope flow and you start to get more of the underhand side of the underhand practice, you've hit a boxing bag before, right? You've done that type of work. Go do that type of work again and do some uppercuts, do some hooks, but remember the things that you learned. You're learning how to generate power and rotation from the ground through your fists. Yeah. There's so many people that I've seen now that have literally said, it's improved my punching, or I actually know how to throw a punch because I've learned how to swing this rope through space.